Hello? Hello. We, we have we have still Typhoon Prapiroon making landfall, just making landfall in Vietnam right now. This could be very bad for Vietnam. We could see a lot of flooding and rainfall, especially landslides, tornadoes are always a threat. We're going to see a landfall we're seeing a landfall right now. Your cat B. Let's pull up the visible satellite loop here, and then we'll see the center on here. You can definitely see the storm is starting to struggle. It definitely doesn't look as good as it did on satellite imagery a couple days ago, but there are still typhoon winds in it. But the center is right here. It is very lopsided. The wind shear has started to get worse ever since, it keeps getting worse and worse for the storm. But we are seeing the brown ocean effect is what I was thinking was going to happen. We're seeing a big burst of convection that's blowing to the southwest. And we're seeing another one pop up around Camp Pha. We're seeing that start to happen. Of course, see this monsoonal stuff down in Laos. It's definitely generating some thunderstorms in northern Laos. It used to be bigger. It was hitting a little bit of Thailand, not anymore. It has shrunk in size a little bit, probably due to the decrease in convection from the land interaction. But it is making a very strong landfall right now in Vietnam. Let's look at this rain accumulation and let's see what happens. Let's see what it says now. So we see get up to 8 inches right where the mountains are. You can definitely see these little bursts here. That's what the ECMWF is projecting. Let's see what the GFS. GFS is mostly predicting the same thing, just this entire area being like a foot, because it has that curve back and then dying off. Icon, it has 2 big spots right here. It gets up to a foot, and then over here it gets up and over a foot. This is almost the worst case scenario run because it's closer into the mountains and closer to Hanoi. Definitely see it's getting pretty cold here in Dongzhong and Halong. We should start. It seems like Hanoi might be spared a little bit. I think they will get quite a bit of thunderstorms, but it seems like they will miss the worst of the rainfall and winds at this point. But if you're in Hanoi, please still keep a very close eye on this. It is making landfall in Vietnam. Pull up the weather radar again. Can see where the center is. Has a lot of banding around it, but only on that southern side. It's just crossing the island right now. Definitely seeing these bands getting very close over here. Let's zoom in on some of these bands. We'll examine the tornado threat coming on shore. There's definitely a lot of threat in these cells right here. We're seeing these bands come up. We saw it with Barrel. This is a very strong cell right here that it has a lot of rain. If there is tornadoes, they're likely going to be rain wrapped and in the dark because this system sadly made landfall during night. So you will get a lot of rainfall in parts of China right here. And these bands or something. Please watch out for tornadoes that could spawn in the night. That's something to very closely watch if you're in China or in the bands. A lot of the isolated bands haven't really hit Vietnam yet, but they likely will soon. You are seeing it has like kind of a secondary eye wall. You are going to get a lot of heavy rainfall for an hour, and as the system moves closer into land, that's when the tornado threat will more build up for Vietnam, because we'll probably see more isolated cells sort of appear on the core then. It's Radar Plus, you can see a lot of this stuff. There are some bands making it over into Vietnam. Forecast for Hanoi, it's just gonna likely thunderstorm until Thursday. Maybe you'll have a little bit of break on Thursday at 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. here at EST, I believe. So you should really watch this system, because this could bring a lot of flooding over the next day. It's a very wet system. Strengthening is going to stop. It's not going to strengthen anymore. We did not expect it to make landfall as a typhoon. We expected it to weaken down to a moderate tropical storm or a low-end tropical storm. But this is... And while we're here, let's take a look at Gamey over here. Gamey has officially became a typhoon, and it's likely going to intensify. I'm pretty sure the JTWC is calling for around 100 knots peak, so around maybe, no, this is no, they aren't. I don't think. I think it might have been an older cone that showed that, but this is predicting a 90 knot peak. So category 2 strength is what the JTWC is forecasting for Gamey. It is a typhoon right now, so this is starting to strengthen. It did have a little bit of setbacks because of wind shear, but this is likely going to strengthen from now on, as the conditions where it's going is just completely favorable to the path. The only problem for it is how big of a storm it is, and that could cause a lot of widespread damage. Like this predicts that the entire island of Taiwan will be under a tropical storm force wind field. So this is huge. Shanghai could be at threat for a lot of winds and rainfall. It's kind of undecided where this is going to go. We don't really know that yet. It's a little hazy, but let me pull up the GEFS tracks. It's almost like certain that it's going to hit Taiwan or be in that area. Something that I'm watching, though, it has it curving up and becoming a huge extratropical cyclone as it gets up into Russia. Let me see if the last GFS run actually shows that, because it was showing it a while ago. You can see those two systems has Prapiroon curving back into the Gulf of Tonkin, and then it has Gamey becoming an extratropical system, and surprisingly curving south. I haven't seen this run. This run's a little odd, but it has it curving south and almost becoming tropical again. We're gonna follow this on that E50 millibar level. Definitely see that make landfall. Gamey makes a landfall, and then its vorticity travels north, south, then back into that system. It surprisingly has a system forming behind it. That might be 94W, I believe. But that isn't doing as good as it was. It just has it's just mostly losing its convection. It's not doing so good. This likely won't form. At this point, it was doing good yesterday, which me and V2 discussed that, how it might pull through even with all the wind shear, but no. It's likely too bad to the point of no return. I'm not saying there's absolutely a 0% chance of development, but I'm saying that it's getting more and more unlikely. Alright, let's pull back up Prapiroon. Thankfully, you can definitely see the cloud tops diminishing on the infrared view. Definitely see that very strong and tight circulation. But Hanoi, Vietnam, is getting hard. We do see another convection burst, a CB right here. This is likely going to blow to the south, kind of like the southwest, I think. Yeah, southwest. Definitely see that convection just starting to burst because of the wind shear. Let's pull up the water vapor imagery. That dry air has set in faster than I thought it would. So likely this will impede further development. You can see that anticyclone right there. Well, that upper level low pressure system. That's blowing a lot of this dry air onto it. Not a lot of thick dry air, but it's enough to sort of attack the system. But that is a confirmed landfall. Let's pull back up the windy radar and let's see how far it is in. Yeah, the center of it is completely over Cat B right now. You'll see it better on here. Yeah, just passing over Cat B right now. My heart goes out to anyone in northern Vietnam right now, because this could be a very, very bad system. Seems like Gamey might be wrapping the northeastern quadrant. We'll pull that up on satellite. We'll pull that up on the Tropical Tidbits infrared. Thank you for Tropical Tidbits. They help me do a lot of my stuff. Yeah, Gamey is officially a typhoon. It seems like it might have a little bit of wrapping associated with it. Northern Luzon's definitely still getting a lot of impacts. GWC typhoons, yeah. JTWC is officially 65 knots for Prapiroon, I believe. The shear vector is weakening. Shear's dropping. That could help Gamey strengthen a lot more. Around 979 millibars for Gamey as of now. Let's pull back up Prapiroon. That's the main focus as of now. See the GFS tracks. They have that sharper turn. I like the way that this. I love the way that this GFS run has been showing. It has it curving, but it is a little tough that it has it curving back into the Gulf of Tonkin. I think that's a little odd. And I'll pull up that GFS run as of now. I'll pull up the run. Let's go Hurricane, GFS. And this is tropicaltidbits.com. They're really helpful. It has all the satellite imagery and stuff on it. You can see it has it curving back, but what is a little weird is that it has it coming back into the Gulf of Tonkin. But the only reason why I think this is odd is that it just has it just completely losing its convection. and just moving on into the Gulf of Tonkin without its convection. It just straight up gives up and rolls away with this. Which this might be a little worse because this could mean more rainfall for portions of Laos and Thailand. So Vietnam is likely not the only thing that this is going to affect. Of course, it has a convection burst at around the 30-hour mark. It has another one at around maybe a little bit of a convection burst at the 54 and 60-hour mark. But at that point, it's too far out. So we'll look. Definitely holds that rainfall. It looks like the rainfall will be more south because of the wind shear. Let's pull this up. This is ECMWF. It has it. They did kind of miss the landfall. It has. They have it going north into China, and then coming back, and then of course it still has that thing where it drops off its convection right here because it's getting hit by the shear, and then it has these two convective bursts right here. You can definitely see the shear if I pop this up. Yeah, shear is 27 knots at this point. So for a storm that has no convection over it, that's very bad, really. So 2 p.m. July 22nd. See what the shear is right now. It says 17 knots, which already isn't really favorable. That's why it's doing this. Let's check the HWRF. Of course, it has it berthing convection because that's what the HWF always does, but has been right. Had it also moving into China, dropping lots of rainfall, curving back, and then of course House had talked about this magical HWRF run in the last stream, I believe, where it has it regenerating into a tropical storm. It's not completely off the table, but just with all the shear and everything, the chance that it regenerates back into a tropical storm would be very insane. Although it has trended that for a while. Half day is usually a little biased, so don't take the half day run with a grain of salt. 80, yeah, it predicted those convective bursts as it is doing right now. Predicted that right. But it has it like stalling, and for some reason it has that 988. For some reason it has that 988 millibars right off the coast of China right there for some reason. And it almost regenerates back into a tropical storm, but fails ultimately, I believe. Half B didn't have anything surprisingly. So that's all the models that we can look at.